we're good.
Okay, good. Well, call the order and stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And audience introductions. You guys.
Hi, my name is Savannah Beach, and I'm representative of the senior class. I'm King Bell.
Great. Well, thank you for coming. And approval of the agenda. Move to approve the agenda. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. And now opposition? Okay. Motion passes. And delegation of visitors, do we have any that signed up? Okay. And items of information for the board, starting with the superintendent report.
You betcha. I decided, I don't know, I think I was on a lot of Sudafed last week. Histamines, and so I had the good stuff. So I decided to go parallel by the numbers and change it up a little bit. So you can see it just says 0 with 1 week game remaining, which we did win. We had 0 losses and we're the regular season league champs. So hopefully we get a win over St. Paul this coming Saturday. Knock on wood. And get the league championship with the tournament as well. But we had some impressive wins over CS Lewis and St. Paul that we swept them this season. But we hope that you can come support our guys and girls this weekend, or this week, I should say. The boys play tomorrow here at 6 p.m. So please come support them. And then the girls play on Saturday. The boys win tomorrow. They'll play on Saturday as well. So please come support them. And then 3, it just says the 3 mobile bathroom units outside. They have music, some ambiance music outside. 2 of them have the guys and girls units, and then the one is the ADA unit. That one does not have nearly as much ambiance. But, we have about 3 weeks left before they're going to be done. Right now, what they did was they created basically a big box that runs the span of the bleachers is what their latest thing they did. They took out about 1.5 feet or so of the gym floor in the back is what it sounds like. They made the box, you can see, and then they put about 16 blowers on there. And those are on for a month straight, starting last Tuesday. And that's putting the wood, air underneath the gym floor. And they're trying to dry out the plywood is really what they're trying to dry underneath there. So they had talked about doing that originally. Joel is, again, the guy from Rapid Response. He had some trepidation about that, though, because of the amount of vapor barrier and the rubber membrane and the plywood, et cetera. But the insurance company and the flooring company that puts it into the floor said this is the route they want to try. So the insurance company and the floor company says, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. So that's the route we're going. We're trying that for a month. And then we'll, again, assess after that. Troy did say when he went in there and looked today, he was surprised with, the condition of it. He thought, he wasn't sure he was going to see coming back this weekend. So we're hoping that it maintains that way and the plywood can dry out over the next 3 weeks. So appreciate the work that they've been doing and hope, crossing our fingers for some good news. 6, the Oregon FFA State Convention, as you can see there. We have 6 students receiving their state degree, and so we're excited about that. Are you one of those 6 students, right?
I am.
So I think that's our largest number for quite a while, at least. So we're really excited about that. Over March 19th through 22nd. So, I plan on being there, just seeing you folks get that. So we're excited about seeing all of you and the large number that we have right now. So thanks to Mr. Fairchild and Mrs. Hanson for working with our students getting that done. And then we have our students who went to Willamette Valley Medical Center in McMinnville with Maggie last week. I believe that was Thursday. She saw you Wednesday, right? So I think it was Thursday, or vice versa, whatever. Anyway, were one of you were there? How was that trip?
It was really fun. I'm planning
Yeah.
on going back.
You do, yeah, I heard there's a second visit, correct? And there was 8 different modalities you got to see, or 8 different areas.
Yes, I think it was about
And then the next time you get to choose like 1 or 2 areas, correct?
yeah, to go for like a longer job shadow type of thing instead of just 10-minute visits.
Which is really great. So I'm glad you guys are getting a chance to go back and have a more in-depth look at those career opportunities at the hospital. And that's great that they do that. Not all hospitals are willing to do that. So the fact that they're willing to partner with us and do that, I think is a really great opportunity for you folks and again, high wage, high demand career fields is really great. So good deal. And you did also?
Oh,
Did
no,
you-
I got confused. I went to the legislative conference.
Oh, yes, that
Yeah.
I knew. So yes, definitely. And that was the other one that we did last week. And thank you. I know that you had worked to help get them to meet some folks. So I appreciate that. And then 27, our boys basketball, the best brand of basketball. I mean, they actually had a loss the other night, but that was a very good game that they played up there in Beaverton. But this 27 was the point swing that they had. They beat C.S. Lewis 55-28 on Saturday, which was quite a bit. The 55-point turnaround from the first time they played them, which was quite remarkable. So they ended up beating Chemawa on Friday. They came back 9 points down and going into the fourth quarter, they won by, I believe it was 4. And then so they will host, like I told you, this Wednesday. 40 this year's drama production, the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, elementary through high school. We have 40 students participating, which is great to have that many students. And then we have Oregon Community College. We have the largest one in Portland. PCC, like a lot of community colleges, has many campuses. The one in Portland, Rock Creek, which is off 185th. Excuse me. Has a variety of programs. I list those there, but there's so many more. They're getting a chance to actually go to one of their main visitation days. So we have about 50 kids. I think it's 51 or 52 kids that are going out with 4 chaperones. There's about 40 programs. Actually, it's more than that, but I had written down about 40 programs, but there's just a plethora of them. If you're interested in a little bit more, I can show you later. What's that?
Oh, I realized they brought chocolate.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Thought you make fun of me for saying plethora. Sorry.
No.
Okay. But there's just a ton of programs that we don't always see in some of our other community colleges around the state. So they're very unique, especially like the bioscience, technology, and microelectronics because of Intel. Thank you. And the last one you see is 100.
They're very good.
And we did have a chance to meet with our high school staff. Some of our high school staff met with a lady from OPB last week. And so she's doing an article about schools that had a 100% graduation rate. Because this was the 25th anniversary of the 40-40-20. And so we talked with her about what works here, the 40-40-20.
I'm trying to fix our YouTube.
That's okay. And that may not work at all at schools, but what's worked for us and maybe areas that we can still have for growth. And then she asked about things that may work in other places, and we try to be, somewhat careful about trying to say what would always work in other schools. But I'm looking forward to seeing what other schools had said as well. She didn't really share what those items were, but if we can glean a couple of things from other schools too that may be successful here, we're always willing to listen to see what some other good ideas are from other schools around the state that are having success as well. So that was it in a nutshell.
Great.
Yeah.
Elementary Milton.
Yeah, of course, there's some overlap in Dan's report and mine. Just a couple of points though. February, we focused on kindness in the elementary. Monthly, we have a theme, and this month is cooperation and friendship. I apologize that the poster on the bottom is so large. I think I sent that to Vanessa for the report in a bigger format than I realized. Valentine's brings the last parties of the school year that are focused on a holiday or a special day. So that kind of marks a milestone for elementary classrooms. Planning parties is a lot of work. So even though it's just February, that was something that, was a small celebration in itself. Mrs. Solom's 8th grade and high school service learning class has, they wrote Valentine's letters and cards and then delivered them to Dallas Retirement Village last week. Her class has been doing a lot of just service learning options around campus, but then also mixing off-campus options for them. And that's been really fun to watch as it's a brand new class offering and she's really kind of feeling her way through, but has done a great job in keeping kiddos engaged with a variety of activities. We talked a bit about the gym. Middle school teachers had a solid 2 weeks of fans running while they were teaching. Sometimes those fans were quite noisy and that was a little bit of a distraction, but they powered through and the kiddos did well. You mentioned Chitty Chitty Bang Bang coming up. Our elementary kids definitely enjoy their role when they're able to be part of that as well. And then Ag Week next week will be the first time that I remember having Ag Olympics on a Monday. And we needed to change that due to a couple different scheduling constraints, but we're really excited. And I think it's actually a great way to kick off the week is to start out with Ag
I'm going to
Olympics.
talk about that in Spotlight.
Okay, perfect. So that's really it from
Yeah.
elementary, middle school.
And SPED report.
We have 34 students who are serving on IEPs. Most of our team went to Washington School for the Blind on the 30th. That's where some staff have done like the conference or whatever over the summer. But it's always just such a great time and just observing classrooms and seeing just how we can serve all of our students better. Their creativity is just amazing. And so it's always nice to go there. We feel like they're our sister school because we've been there quite a bit. I think we had our 5th grade class take a field trip up there. And then we have the conference, the summer conference there. And then now we just got to go during the week. So it's really nice.
Okay, and then celebration report.
Yeah, I think our biggest focus obviously has been that middle school building. A lot of you have been able to see it. If you'd like to see it after the meeting tonight, I'm more than happy to take you over there, show you the update on the bathrooms, or any other part of the building, the gym itself, classrooms, anything you'd like to see. I'm more than happy to do that today or tomorrow or any other day that you'd like to, or any part of the facilities that you'd like to. But a lot of time that was spent over there. Then we did have the AFP out to fix part of the pipe that we had issues with. Again, it was a sprinkler head where it was attached to the pipe itself right above the girls' bathroom inside the middle school area. That was cracked right there, and that was what caused it, and then it popped. And so that was just basically water pouring out for about 6 hours. That's what it looks like on the video camera. You could see the water starting to come out of the girls' bathroom, and then it just started flooding the gym and the hallway and the classrooms. So that was the biggest thing that we were looking at, and that pipe was fixed, and then we have AFP looks like they're going to be coming down sometime between now and next Friday, the 27th, to change a couple of the sensors. Concerns are, why was the sensor not going off, showing that water flow was going to the fire department and outside, like, waking up the Mackins across the street. But it worked when we had it tested with Inova came out, Randy, whose kids go to school here, came and worked with Troy last week, and they came, I guess it was the 6th, and they came out and tested it, and it worked. The sensor worked. So when they put it into test mode, so they're going to go ahead and replace a couple of the sensors, at least 2. I think there's 4 that we may replace, but we just don't trust those sensors at this time. It's kind of troubleshooting, and we want to be able to trust it. Whether it's at 1 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock in the morning, et cetera, we're not going to be able to be here 24/7, and we need to be able to make sure that's reliable for our systems. And now that we knew that something didn't work, we want to make sure that we're showing that we're, doing our due diligence to make sure that our system's, working appropriately. So we're gonna have them do that and come out and test it and certify it that it was done correctly. But our system, we did have it tested this last summer, our fire system, and it passed obviously, but hopefully everything's in good shape going forward. So that's where a big part of it was. Not that we didn't have other things to work on and all that, as you see. So again, if you have any questions about that project, that in middle school or any other project, let us know. So that was where a lot of the work has been done.
Right. And spotlight on education.
Yeah, so the spotlight, it wasn't so much just about Ag Olympics, but just creating opportunities for kids and starting with us moving Ag Olympics, and that's what I was going to actually discuss. It was supposed to be this Friday, and the reason why it got moved and our staff was good with it was because we were trying to get a visitation to Portland Community College because we had our animal science, or actually vet science class, which we're teaching for the first time. We've had our animal science class, but the vet science that Maggie's able to teach now. And we have a lot of students that are very interested in that course. Well, PCC has a vet tech class and program, I should say, but we also have our horticulture and floriculture class that McKenna teaches. And we have students that are interested in doing some landscape design and horticulture work there. And so they have a program there as well. But then we also have students that are interested in doing like auto body or welding. I know your son, sounds familiar, but not only do they have that, obviously at Portland Community College, Rock Creek has that, but there's a lot of programs there. We thought, boy, it'd be great to get something done before the end of the school year. So we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Maggie happened to call that same day after I talked with her about it. And they said, you know what, you can do your own little tour, but we have something coming up on the 20th, kind of like the Orange and Black Day, where they're really going in depth with a lot of programs. And a lot of colleges have this, but this was their big day. So when she came back and said, yeah, we can do it, but it's the 20th, Ag Olympics was that day. And, Mrs. Hanson and Mr. Fairchild said, well, let's try to move that if the teachers are good with it, because this would be a really great opportunity for our kids. And so our staff, elementary through high school and support staff, et cetera, saw the value of our kids being able to look at something like that and be willing to move that. Now, granted, that was a week and a half or 2 weeks out, but just the willingness to be able to do that. But not just that, just, the opportunity for our kids to do the Science Olympiad. That's something that we've started doing the last few years. These science trips that we've been able to start putting together the last couple of years, our staff are going above and beyond. And I know that I'm talking about opportunities for kids to do stuff, but even the stuff going up to the school for the blind that your staff did, trying to, create opportunities for their students that they work with or student they work with too here on campus, and getting that opportunity, just the things that we're trying to be able to do to create opportunities for our kids, I think is pretty phenomenal. And some of our staff doing it, but the volunteers that we have with some of the parents looking at the youth basketball program, I'm thinking of, right away with what we have going on with that. This last weekend, they had their culminating tournament. And I know that your group took second place in theirs. I know the other group that Daniel was working with, they took, I think, second. That was a different group though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Took second. They lost
Sixth grade.
Amity and their group won. And so, it's been really great to see some of the programs that these kids have. That doesn't mean that we're not doing some really amazing things also with our FFA programs, et cetera, but it's been neat to see some of these other programs that we've been able to expand and see branch out. So I just think it's been able to create these other avenues for kids, whether it's in elementary school, like I was talking about with some of the basketball, or middle school or high school. Our kids have been able to have some of these other opportunities. So I want to say thanks to our staff, thanks to the parents, and I hope that our kids are enjoying these programs. I think they are, and I think they're meaningful. I think it's great. So I want to say thanks, and I think they're good for our kids. So that's it.
Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Okay, motion passes. Items for board action. The first one is the resolution to extend certified contracts. But we do this every year, correct?
Yes.
This time, and I don't know if there's anything you
There is some
point
changes
out
to
on this.
Yeah, so with this, there's the asterisks there, was a law that changed, House Bill 2900. So what that said, that was that teachers who had completed 3 or more probationary years in the previous school only had to complete 2 years of probation after a new school or new district. That had changed before. It was 3 years after a new district they had to complete. So that did change this session. So you see Kirk Fairchild had completed 3 years at his previous district in Oakland. You see Michael Connor had completed 3 years at his previous district in McMinnville. Kelly Dorfler had completed 3 years at his previous district at Central School District. And Brett Wood had completed 3 years at his previous district at McMinnville School District as well. I think those are the 4 teachers. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you'll see that that's changed a little bit. Paying attention to it, many of you, not sure about that, but the teachers right here, the contract status, those teachers right there all had their 3 years or more with the district. And so they would have the contract status for the next school year, 26-27, and then 27-28. The next one, the place on the 3rd year probationary status, we don't have any. For the next one, placed on the 2nd year's probationary status, would be Michael Connor, Callie Dorfler, Dustin Arthur, and Eric Hayworth, Jordan Miller, and Margaret White. So those teachers are in their 1st year here now. They would then be going into their 2nd year there. So they'd be going to year 2. This year, anybody who's brand new is in their 1st year of probationary status, if that makes sense. So, and anybody that was in their 3rd this year, they would then be moving up to their contract. So right now we don't have anybody in year 2, essentially. So do we need to read all this out loud for this? Okay, I didn't think so, but are there any questions on this document, or is it pretty self-explanatory? Okay.
Okay, so unless there's any questions, we take a motion.
I move to approve resolution 26-04, the resolution to extend certified contract.
And second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Okay, motion passes. So I will, do I use this to you, Cindy? Okay, I'll just sign it really quick. So.
Do you want a copy of each?
And by state law, it has to be done by March 15th each year. And so unless we had our meeting on the 15th, like next year, it would be on March 15th, so you could do it that day. Or you have to do it the February meeting.
Okay, next item is senior trip.
All right, so as we discussed earlier this year, the senior class did not have the funds necessary they thought in order to go on a senior trip. So they had planned on going on a senior skip day, but recently they had fundraised quite a bit of money. So they had the idea of coming to the board to ask if they may be able to go on a senior trip for Memorial Day weekend. Traditionally, skip day instead, but they have about $7,500, $7,400 that they now have. There are 17 seniors. I'm not sure if all of them are planning on going. You may know if, I think I had heard about 15 may go, but it may be up to 17 are going to go. And I think that there's about 3 or 4 chaperones that are planning on going. The rule says that it has to be at least 1 male and 1 female chaperone in the handbook. That they have go. It could be more than that, and there could be more chaperones. And they just have to make sure that they go through the background check. the additional chaperones if they're not our staff members. So staff members are obviously going through those already. So, all right.
Right, Savannah.
We want to thank you all for allowing us this opportunity to speak. On behalf of the senior class, we are pleased to submit our official proposal for our senior trip. And as Mr. Dugan kind of talked about earlier, initially we were planning to do a traditional skip day, but because of the sudden funds that we have received, we are able to reconsider and potentially plan a senior trip. Instead of the traditional one-day activity, we would like to organize a memorable and educational senior trip that celebrates our final year. We would like to propose a senior trip to Sun River, Oregon, featuring educational, recreational, and fun activities. This trip will provide students with structural engagement opportunities while fostering class unity and positive memories.
The senior class has raised $7,435 through fundraising and generous donations. We are looking at 2 potential houses, one for boys and one for girls. House 1 costs $1,348 and house 2 costs $1,305, which leaves $4,782 remaining in our savings account. We have many fun and educational activities planned, such as visiting the Oregon Observatory, visiting the Sun River Nature Center, biking on Sun River trails, activities at the Sun River Marina, swimming at the Sun River Homeowners Aquatic and Recreational Center, and experiencing Sun River VR. We estimate that these activities will cost about $200, and this leaves us with $4,582. We are also expecting food to be around $450 and fuel is around $300. After housing activities, food, and fuel expenses, we anticipate that if 20 students were to attend, that there will be approximately $190 per student available as spending money, maybe a little bit more since there's less students going in 20. But this provides flexibility for individual needs, souvenirs, or additional food activities while keeping the trip financially responsible.
Above all, our class values education and well-being. We would like to foster educational value through STEM learning opportunities, science, technology, engineering, and math, by visiting the Oregon Observatory and fostering environmental education by visiting the Sun River Nature Center. We would also like to promote physical activity through hiking, biking, and swimming activities.
We sincerely appreciate the school board's continued support of the senior class. The unexpected increase in funds has allowed us to shift from a simple skip day to a well-planned educational and memorable senior trip. We are extremely grateful for this opportunity and are committed to representing our school respectfully throughout the trip. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, the senior class.
So I had one question related to transportation, and busing costs, just that it's worked into their budget, or can some of that be
So that could
covered
be
because
reimbursed if they're
it's
doing some of that.
educational?
Yeah, if they're doing some of that, then it could be at the 70% number. I do have a little bit of concern with some of the spending money. I'd have to work that out because I don't know. We'd have to still account for some of that money. It's not like just per diem where you just say, oh, here's $100. It doesn't work like that. But we could work with Cindy and talk with her a little bit more on what we're thinking. I think the food budget would be a little bit higher than what you have right now. I guess maybe you guys are just thinking Captain Crunch every day. I'm not quite sure on that. But are you thinking 2 nights or 3 nights? What was it again?
It's going to be May 15th through 17th, so 2 nights.
15 through, so it's not Memorial Day weekend then.
I'm not positive which weekend is Memorial Weekend, and I can double check the dates and get back to you. But
Okay,
from
so
what
yeah, that definitely is not. I know it's the last Monday in May, so I think it's actually the 31st this year. But okay, so the 15th through 17th, and then have you guys double checked on track and softball and maybe baseball schedules yet?
we have not, no.
Okay.
I wasn't quite aware those are available yet, but I'd be happy to check those and get back to you to see if
Okay.
everything's.
So if the board agrees to the idea of the framework of a senior trip, that's one thing I would definitely like to work with you folks on is the timeline on this, because we'd have to look at a lot of kids participate in track And so we want to look at your senior class, now how many kids are participating in that or other spring activities, and make sure that that would work for them, and make sure that you can do it. That makes sense where you had some houses that still had availability. That's why I was wondering where you're getting those. That makes sense, 15th through 17th. So you're probably looking at just 2 nights. So, okay. But yeah, $400 for food for a couple nights for, you're looking at about 22 people, I think, with your chaperones, maybe, or 21. So $20 a person for 2 nights. And so lunches, breakfast, dinners, seems like it's not very much because you're going to want to go eat out and stuff like that. So it's not very much money for that.
We reworked the budget a little bit.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We can work on that. I think we've done it enough that we can have a pretty good idea of what that would look like. Okay? I think it'd still be fine. You can still have some activity money, but again, you got to convince this group if that's the way to go. But I think it's very doable.
Sorry, I was just looking up to see when they have the dates of the state track meet, because then that would.
I feel like Stacy looked and it was a conflict last year, and I think that's the reason that they're doing it the week before Memorial Day weekend, because it was a conflict last year.
So this
I
is
think
2
it's-
weeks before, these dates are 2 weeks before.
So
I think
it's-
state is that weekend.
Is 2 weeks
And is Memorial Day weekend, districts is the
Oh.
weekend before.
before, okay.
From what
That's
Stacy-
that weekend.
If this is the same weekend, it's potentially, I think what they said was the Twilight meet is the meet that they would be having
Is that
in,
Jewel?
no,
it's-
it's,
Yeah. Twilight is,
it's not Jervis, but that's the only thing that's
Out
it's
that
outside
way.
of Salem,
the private school.
Regis.
Yeah,
Regis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it has state track is the 28th to the 30th.
so districts would be the weekend before, which
Before.
is why they didn't plan it for that day either, so. I don't know what the plan is as far as the Twilight meeting and if they've talked about that or not, but that was the one they thought would be easier to work around than the other two.
Well, that makes sense on why they were looking at that, if that's the case with, if track is that same weekend. And we have some precedent with that. We did the class of 25, right? Did their senior trip President's Day weekend, because same issue. They were worried about spring activities. Nikki was 26, 25, right? You were 26, is that right?
No,
Or
you're
06.
talking
I know,
about
I'm
like-
like,
That's graduated.
There's also, there is also a softball game on that Friday.
06, so that's what I meant. So 05, 06, so, because you're 06, right?
Yeah.
So 05 would, President's Day weekend, so they did switch the weekend around a little bit because of conflicts. Softball does have a game on the 15th,
Yes.
so. That would be something we have to look at, but there's no great weekend, so we'd have to look at doing something if the board do that. So.
Yeah, I don't know what folks think. I mean, I think I'd be supportive of maybe like there's a motion to work with doing on schedule and travel, budget and travel arrangements. Yeah.
I'm going to move to approve the workable plan for the senior trip in Sun River, the latter part of May. And working with Mr. Dugan and Cindy related to your budget, travel plans and all of that. Make sure you have enough money to do everything you want to do.
Second.
Vanessa, you got that in a motion form?
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any in opposition? Okay, motion passes.
What are you doing at lunch tomorrow?
Let's start running a chapter meeting.
Okay, well, we'll figure out
About
another time.
Thursday.
I can't, well, we probably want to get going on it tomorrow, so we can book houses and stuff eventually, so we'll figure out a time. I do have a meeting with you tomorrow at 9 online, so I can't do advisory time. And then I have another meeting at 2, so we'll try to figure out a time. Is it you two I should pull out, or who else should be?
I would recommend pulling Kennedy as well. I do
Okay.
believe she will be gone all day. I will just see that.
Oh, that's right, okay, all right, so we'll figure out something, maybe the next day then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe
Before
Thursday,
school.
maybe Thursday, like you
We
say.
can start the conversation before school.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Thank you all for your
Bye.
time.
Well,
Thanks,
good job, you
ladies.
guys, you're thinking we're having school on time tomorrow, I like that thinking. Or it's not, okay. I got hopes up last night, I said, well, yeah,
Next, superintendent evaluation. So thank you everyone for getting the forms back. Apologies, last week I realized like from Vanessa that we needed to send reminders around. And since she wasn't at the meeting, she didn't even know that I had said we'd send them all electronically. So, I haven't gone over these with Dan, but in all categories, effective and accomplished, so I can give these to you individually. But I think it just shows that we are very appreciative of the leadership we hear at Graydale and a lot of confidence from the board on our performance and your leadership, so appreciate that.
thank you, appreciate that, and I thank everybody that I work with every day, and it takes a lot of support, and a lot of those people are sitting at the table to my left, and I appreciate that a lot, so I appreciate the relationship I've had with the board, both now and in the past, so thank you.
And do we need, Cindy, would we need do we need to file this on?
You'll have to tabulate it, and then they'll get it, yeah. they'll
Okay.
copy it.
I have it tabulated, so I can just give it to Vanessa, okay, great. So I guess we need a motion to approve the superintendent evaluation. Okay, all those in favor? Any in opposition? Okay, motion passes. And then now we're gonna move into executive session under ORS 192-600 2D to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing board to carry out labor negotiations.
Thank you. I said you don't need to stay here, is that what you said?
I think you.